This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Arizona, Brother Mike, back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Thanks for tuning into the program. May God richly bless you. This is a tough one today. Bible study, trans surgery nightmares. This is going to be pretty gross. Hang in there on this one. Hey, we call somebody to tell them the radio program's on, particularly if they're trans or considering trans surgeries or transitioning a minor. A lot of good information today that may save your life. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. Been a professional counselor for over 40 years. Been on the radio here over 21 years. If you go to the website, hardcorechristianity.com, you'll see all of our ministry services. I have a Sunday morning podcast at 9 o'clock. I have a deliverance training class the fourth Saturday of every month at noon. We have 2 Zoom services per week, one for the ladies and one for everybody. We have 2 live services every week, Thursday and Friday nights at 7 o'clock. If you send me an email, mike@hardcorechristianity.com, I'll send you all the information to all of our services. Don't forget about our next Children's Deliverance service, the first Saturday of April at 10 o'clock, pre-teens only. This is a massively anointed service. Please come bring your kids for prayer before the devil butchers them. Don't forget about our women's seminars and all the other ministries on the website, hardcorechristianity.com. Folks, as you know, America's been lost. There's nothing we can do to get it back. Supposedly, Donald Trump is ahead in all the polls, and he's going to win the election. You know what's going to happen. Yep, he'll be ahead by about 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock he'll be ahead, and guess what? You wake up the next morning, and mysteriously, all kinds of votes appeared, and Trump will lose again. The cancel culture is now targeting the Lord Jesus and the thing that Satan hates the most, the Bible. He wants the Bible canceled, and he'll do anything to stop it. Here's why. Genesis chapter 1. God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. There's only 2 genders, according to the Bible. 2 genders, that's it. There's not 72. Genesis chapter 5. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God, male and female, he created them. And he blessed them. He called their name Adam in the day that they were created. First chapter of Romans specifically says that homosexuality is a sin, period. The devil wants to destroy the Bible, and therefore he is cutting down the truths of the Bible. They're not just 2 genders, Satan said. There's 72 of them. Sex equates to love. And no matter what kind of sex you have with a human or an animal, it is not a sin. If you're having sex with children, with Satan, you're fantastic. He just loves you. Anything that contradicts the Bible, the devil is 100% in favor of it. Well, as you know, transgenderism is sweeping the country. It's not a real thing. It's a social media created, influenced, and promoted issue. Transgenderism is a mental illness. Everybody who wants to transition into another sex also has concomitant mental illnesses that are ignored and swept under the rug, as the transgender surgery crews coming in are looking for money and big money. Double mastectomies are profitable. Cutting off boys' penis and scrotum and recreating a vagina is extremely profitable. And this is not going to stop. It's going to keep going. Well, guess what? there was a seminar, so to speak, recently by a company called WAPATH. It's a medical organization. And there's a doctor, a surgeon, who's top-notch in transitions surgeries. His name is Lugani. And he wrote a research paper called The Standards of Care for the Health of Transgender and Gender Diverse People. Okay, he wrote that. And this guy's a top surgeon in his field. And he was lecturing at a seminar called Foundations in Surgery. It happened in September of last year. It was recorded. Well, guess what? That recording got leaked. The recording got leaked. Guess who got it? Yeah, I got it among other people. And what was in this recording, and this was his speech at the convention, was absolutely shocking. The guy said that removing male genitals and creating a vagina in particular, the side effects can be, quote, pretty bad, unquote. This is coming from an expert in this field. He went on to explain on this tape that the complications for a vaginoplasty, and it's very difficult to perform because you run the risk of perforating the rectum while you are dissecting the vaginal cavity. And he said on the tape, quote, you are essentially dissecting the vaginal cavity between the prostate and the rectum, and there's no space there. So you have to create a new plane in a spot that doesn't exist. So you're very close to the rectum, and it's very hard. And it's very easy to get in there. And he said that the more the surgeons do these surgeries, for obvious reasons, the better they get at it. But he also pointed out in the lecture that most of these transition surgeries are done by doctors who do not specialize in trans surgeries. It's a part of their overall practice. And he said that the complication rate and the mistakes made in these surgeries are significantly higher in people who do not specialize in this kind of surgery because it's so enormously complicated. Creating a vagina where a penis existed is extremely difficult to do and requires enormous skill on the part of the surgeon. And he said what they're doing is trying to give certifications for these surgeons so that they can cut down on the horrible side effects of these surgeries, which are apparently tremendous. They want to set up a series of training programs and fellowships to help these physicians not to screw up these people's lives. So, in his speech, he said that physicians who do not dedicate a huge part of their practice or specialize in this gender-affirming care are running extreme risks of damaging people. And the damage to the colon, to the prostate, you've got to create a new method of urination. You've got to create a vagina that is able to have orgasms and heterosexual sex. And he said this is a very, very complicated surgery and very difficult to do. Some of the side effects of these surgeries, he said, included wound disadherence, vaginal stenosis, rectovaginal fistulas, pelvic floor dysfunction, clitoral necrosis, In some cases, these side effects, he said, had a 75% rate. 75% of the surgeries converting from male to female had these horrible side effects. Then he went on to say that after the surgery, it's a full-time job. That's using his terms. Full-time job for the first few months, because at least 4 times a day, the vagina has to be dilated because the body wants to close it up, because the body considers it a wound. Just like you cut your arm or your finger, your body naturally, because God created it that way, tries to fix it and close it up. And the same thing is true with these fake vaginas. They have to constantly be dilated for up to 2 years. If it closes, he explained, the tissue there becomes rock hard and you cannot dilate it again. He said it becomes like concrete once it's settled. You can't just go in with tiny dilators and increase the size of it. It's going to require another major surgery. Then he explained that the person's ability to have an orgasm could be damaged. Many of the patients who had this surgery can no longer have orgasms. And he recommended that patients who masturbate a lot before the surgery, before they transition, that had a higher rate of having an orgasm after they were given a created fake vagina. What's going on here? What's really happening here? These people are being influenced on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and so on. They're getting their concepts that they are not born in the right sex from social media. And the doctors are transitioning them as minors, because once you do that, you have a patient for life. Like an annuity. The person will need medical care and medical observation for the rest of their lives. The surgeries are enormously expensive. The follow-up is lucrative. And it's all lies. If you sense that you're transgender, you can be healed in Jesus' mighty name. 602-636-5800. Please do not go through any transitional surgeries. The Lord Jesus is waiting for you.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.